Forum. Here's your host, Jim Rome.
Welcome back. Joining me in the Forum are a senior writer for ESPN.com, Jeff Chadiha, and making his first appearance on this Forum panel, he is a columnist for Slam Magazine, Vincent Thomas. Good to see both you guys. All right, Jeff, let me start with the Eastern Conference first. We've got a tie game or a tie series. It's now a best-of-3 matchup. The Celtics have the home court, but do they have the edge?
I don't think so. I think what I saw from the Detroit Pistons last night was the same thing I saw from them in Game 2, a team that desperately wants to prove that they still can win the NBA Finals. You know, to me, I think the one thing I always question about this team is why can't they do this every night? You know, it's always, you see one good game, one bad game, one good game, one bad game. If they got the same kind of performance they got from Antonio McDyess, Jason Maxiell as they got last night, they're going to be very good in the series.
To that point, Vince, why can't they do that every single night? Flip Saunders says, look, for better or for worse, this is our personality. Do you buy that? Do you accept that? Or should they be able to step it up every single night?
Well, no, I don't buy that at all. I think that's him trying to take a little bit of pressure off of himself, because it's a coach's job really to motivate the squad. And, you know, Jeff and I, we were saying that basically Detroit, when you look at the rotation, maybe like 1 to 9, it's probably the deepest, most talented team when you just look at the players that they have, but they lose interest sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't show on the court. So when you think about who has the advantage in the series right now, you would like to think that it's Detroit, but they could Jekyll and Hyde us and come out in Game 5.
Hey, look, who is that on? Is that on the coach?
It's on Flip Saunders. It has to be. I mean, we talked about the respect factor there. I think when Larry Brown left town a couple years ago, that respect went out the door with him. You know, you look at Flip Saunders, he's a great guy if you want looseness. He's a great guy if you want chemistry. But when you need somebody to crack that whip, and this team needs to have that whip cracked every now and then, he's not that guy.
And you know, conversely, when you look at Boston, the reason why they were so consistent during the season, at least, is because Doc Rivers is known as a great motivator, and of course Kevin Garnett, as the team's leader, is a great motivator. What's happening now is that they're in a situation where they're playing against a team that's just straight up better than them, and the motivation can only go but so far when Ray Allen's having the 2 worst weeks of you know, his pro career, and KG is not coming through in the clutch. It's all up to Paul Pierce.
Listen, to that point, what about KG? Great leader, great motivator, to your point. These guys feed off him. I mean, KG is KG, but is KG a great closer?
You know what? KG has a lot of Rasheed Wallace in him. You know, not from the craziness standpoint, but from the unselfishness standpoint. I think he likes dishing off. He likes doing things that creates other opportunities for players. But at this time, you need somebody who has Kobe Bryant's mentality or LeBron James' mentality, somebody who wants to be the star on the big stage. I don't know if Kevin Garnett has ever been that kind of player.
It got to a point where he made he made a move on the baseline last night. It was a turnaround like jump hook, and I was actually kind of surprised to see that he was so committed and purpose in that situation that late in the 4th quarter. It can't be like that with a guy, you know, as great as KG.
All right, San Antonio, you just cannot kill these guys. They keep showing up. Are the Lakers still in control in this series?
You know, I'm one of these people who's not a big Lakers fan, and it's not because I don't like the Lakers. I just look at them and I see a team that, aside from Derek Fisher and Kobe Bryant, I don't see where that playoff experience is coming from. Lamar Odom's only played in 25 playoff games. Paul Gasol's only played in 4 playoff games and lost all of them. You know, why is everybody so high on this bandwagon, aside from the fact that there's a lot of star power associated with Phil Jackson and Kobe Bryant?
If the Spurs think that they're in control right now, then that can be a problem. Because I think for the team that gets that first win after 2 opening losses, especially a team like the Spurs, they can get, you know, too confident and maybe be a little calm in game 4 and end up giving it away. Whereas a team like the Lakers, who are young, Phil Jackson needed all the ammunition that he needed to get those young guys to recognize that you're playing against the defending champs. You need to come out really committed in this Game 4. And I actually see LA winning Game 4 and then going and closing it in the Staples Center.
Let's go to the proverbial question here in Los Angeles. What is with Lamar Odom? I mean, he's such an enigma. One, he's a great guy. Everybody loves him. And he's got a game that's almost impossible to match up with. The guy is such a great talent. And you look at him, it's like, why can't you bring that every single night? And he's having a bad series right now. Is he going to pull out of this? And what's his problem?
You know, well, again, I go back to Kobe Bryant said it best last night after that, in the interview. He said, you know, he's too anxious. He's trying too hard. You know, Lamar Odom's never been to this point in the playoffs before, and I think he's trying to do too many things. Again, I go back to the fact that if he's able to just be Lamar Odom and be that third option at offense, he's going to be just fine.
I call Lamar Odom a franchise role player, and that means that from his position as a role player, he can have so much influence on the game that he can impact the game almost like a franchise player can, like a Kobe or a Tim Duncan. But what I think should be most heartening about Lamar Odom's performance is what he said afterward, when he basically said, look, I played terrible, and because I played terrible, the team lost. That was actually him recognizing how much importance he has. I don't think he would have done that in years past.
Like I said, great guy. He's a stand-up guy. He's an accountable guy. But can he fix that problem?
He's going to fix it.
I think so.
Who's going to stop him from if he's committed to wanting to fix it, who's going to stop him on the Spurs?
Only himself. Only him. Now, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about him. Can he get out of his own head? All right, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. Good job, guys. Thank you very much. See you both tomorrow. When we come back, you'll get my final burn on why Vince Young